mwalimu wa math amesema
Fika mbali, hapa ni wapi?
Because they were performing very poorly in mathematics. I started in 2019 as a board of management teacher. When I was growing up, I saw only the male students. They really liked mathematics, they really liked sciences. But when it came to the girls, for us, we have that mentality that this is not meant for us. Teaching was never part of my dream. I was dreaming to become a medic. My mother wanted me to become a doctor. I wanted to become an engineer. The salary that we get does not coincide with the cost of living. I also have some cousins. Some are working for the county government, some are working for the NGO. They report to work 3 times in a week. They report less than 5 days in a month, and they're earning 3 times my salary. If you want to pursue a bachelor's of education, you are supposed to be having a minimum of C+ in your mean grade. So we have pure mathematics and you have applied mathematics. I have a nickname. I have a nickname, but mine is cute.
Okay.
What
do they call you?
They call me boss lady. They were like, so you got a good time to perform well. Yeah,
schools.
there are schools that are known for cheating. Do not let the challenge that you're facing interfere with your studies.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to another amazing episode of Mahdi Show. Today we have an amazing show. Very exciting to say. I remember one of my good professors who told me all African women, or he said generally, well, women are scientists. If they can cook tea, if they can cook food by adding samples together, then they are scientists. Nevertheless, today we are happy to host one of our bright minds, a teacher by profession and teaches sciences and math in Garissa County, a profession that the young generation have really abandoned, profession that even the older generation have also abandoned, especially during the coming of the county government. We've lost several teachers of the county government, and the young upcoming generations don't want to go into teaching. What are the reasons why young learners are not going to the teaching profession? How can we change the attitude of the young learners in a time when young people are turning away from the teaching profession, deterred by low pay, heavy workload, limited resources, lack of recognition? Her dedication stands out clearly. Across Kenya and beyond, the classroom is losing its future mentors and role models, especially in STEM subjects. This crisis not only threatens the educational sector, but the development of our society. Our guest today is very extraordinary and very inspiring, having stayed with the profession and decided to pursue her dreams in teaching and shaping the lives of our young ones. Nasri Mohammed, who is a chemistry and mathematics teacher at Salama Girls Secondary School in Garissa. Welcome, Nasra.
Thank you.
Can you start by telling us a bit about yourself and your journey into teaching math and chemistry?
So, thank you for hosting me. My name is Nasra Mohammed. I am a teacher, a high school teacher in Salama Girls. Salama Girls is a school in Garissa, a high school. It's very famous and it's known for quite good performance. It is not a national school, but it is known because we produce excellent students. So I teach in that school. I teach mathematics and chemistry, and it is a very beautiful journey. I started in 2019 as a board of management teacher, but now I work for the TAC. I really have to say that I am really enjoying my journey, alhamdulillah. So I have studied in Garissa Primary School. It's a public school. I managed to secure a position in Salama Girls, the same school that I teach currently. So I finished there from 4, and then I studied Bachelor of Education in Garissa University, graduated in 2023 June, and that is how I secured a job in the same school I finished high school.
What inspired you to become a teacher, especially the science subjects?
Yeah, so before, when I was a student in high school, I never thought of becoming a teacher before, because we had that kind of mindset that teaching is a very, very difficult subject. But there is something that I realized when I was almost completing my high school, that was I was in Form 4. I was one of those students who were performing well, and I was being approached by those students who were, of course, performing in other subjects, but were very weak in sciences. So those kind of students usually came to approach me, and they were like asking, can you help me with this topic in mathematics, this topic in chemistry? And when I was trying to teach them, I realized that they were just learning things from me too fast without me putting a lot of effort into. I just asked myself, like, they are not learning from their teachers that fast, where are they learning that fast from me? You know, I can just explain something at once and then they're like, okay, so that's how it is. And I'm like, yeah, this is how it is. It's just as easy as this. I only explained once and they've already understood. So I was wondering, why do my friends like learn things from me too fast? Is it because I explain to them well? Or is it because we are just friends, they like allow themselves to learn something from me fast? I left the issue there. And then when we were almost finishing, my teacher asked me to present a certain subtopic in biology in front of the students, a whole classroom now in this case, yeah? And then it was an essay concerning a certain subtopic, and I prepared, of course, came, presented in a class, and the whole class was just so, happy that they have understood the concept so easily. To me, from my side, I was not putting a lot of effort. I felt like it's coming naturally from me. That's when I realized that I'm meant for this field. However much we are trying to run away from it, because teaching was never part of my dream. I was dreaming to become a medic. My mother wanted me to become a doctor. I wanted to become an engineer. Teaching was never anywhere written in my syllabus. But after I finished, I realized like the courses that I wanted to do, first of all, they are very costly. And since I'm already meant for a certain field, I just accepted, my fate. I'm a teacher. I'm meant to be a teacher. So I better follow that route. That is how I found myself in this procedure.
What are some of the biggest challenges you face as a teacher?
One of the biggest challenges that I faced as a teacher generally is we have that negative mindset in Somali community that science is not meant for us, that science is a very difficult field for us to pursue in it. When I was growing up, I saw only the male students, in primary and in high school. They really liked mathematics, they really liked sciences. But when it came to the girls, we can pass in arts, we are very good in the arts, but when we come to sciences, for us, we have that mentality that this is not meant for us. It's very difficult and we cannot just pursue it. That is one of the challenges that I'm facing, that kind of mindset, and I really hope that one day we are going to eradicate that kind of thing from our people's minds. Every single morning when we go to school, when I go to my class, the first thing that I have to do when I'm teaching is to provide simpler examples. When I'm teaching, I start from simpler content, go to complex, and finally, so that they can see that things are not that hard. If I could do it, then they can also do it. It's a challenge, but we are fighting it, and one day, and I hope, inshallah, that we will also accept, sciences as part of our lives. Categories.
Categories of
Yes.
education.
Yeah.
What do you say education or teaching?
Education in general.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in university, for example.
So it is usually categorized into three major groups. We have maths, a department. It's maths department. That is if you are interested in mathematics generally. Maths again is categorized into two. So we have pure mathematics and you have applied mathematics. Okay. So it depends on later when you want to specialize. You can specialize either in pure mathematics or you can specialize in applied mathematics. That is if you're interested in the math category. We have sciences. Sciences comprises of chemistry, biology, physics, and such kind. Yeah. So that's under science category. And then we have the humanities. Humanities, for those who are interested in history and government, geography, and such kind of stuff. Yeah, they're under humanity department. We have languages, which is Swahili, English, Arabic, and any other language that is offered in the curriculum. So if I'm trying to advise a student on what kind of subjects to take, we have to first look at what is that student good in. Is that student good in sciences? Is she good in humanities? In general, sciences or arts? Yeah. So when a student wants to focus on sciences, then he or she has to be good in mathematics. She has to be good in biology, chemistry, home science, such kind of subjects. Yani that means when she is learning, she has to learn it with passion. Yeah. When you find yourself that you're reading a book and the content is just flowing into you, then that means you are meant for this subject. If there is another group of subjects that you find yourself you can read, but it needs a little bit of struggle, then that means you're not that good into it, but you can still do it. Yeah, you can still learn. It might help you one time. When a student finishes high school and does his or her KCSE exam and gets the results, then if that student is interested in sciences, the university only offers a combination of two subjects. If it's sciences, then you have maths stroke chemistry. You can have chemistry stroke biology or biology stroke maths. So let's say the student wants to do maths and chemistry. Then the first requirement is that student should be having a mean grade of C+ and above. And then on the two subjects that they are doing, they should also get a minimum of C+. And they're also required to have a minimum of C+ in English. If the student wants to do, let's say, biology in mathematics, then they should be having a mean grade of C+, C+ and above in mathematics, C+ and above in biology, C+ and above in English. Yeah. Any combination in Bachelor of Education degree. Yeah. When the student is interested in doing diploma, the mean grade should be C plain and above, and the same way the subject they're interested in, they should be having also a C plain and above.
What do you love about teaching?
What do I love about teaching? What I love the most is seeing how my students and how my girls are changing and embracing themselves, how they're actually getting confidence in what they're doing. When they are joining high school the first time, they come when they are very young, you know. So as they are moving in those 4 years, there are so many things that changes in them. They learn things that they never knew existed before. They know nothing about sciences that are offered in high school. They know nothing about the content that they're going to learn in high school. So as they are moving on from Form 1 till Form 4, first of all, they learn so many things. I like changing how my girls feel about themselves. Yeah? I teach them how to be confident. I teach them how to listen to their own voices, because teaching is just not about being a lecturer in a classroom and delivering content. It is more than that. It's something deeper than that. It is an emotional journey, because students will rely on you and they will take you as a big sister. They will come to you with issues that affect them in home and any other issue that affects them outside school. Yeah? They'll come and pour their emotions to you. So you have to be strong enough and you have to be matured enough to actually listen to them, solve their problems, advise them. So it's not just only going to class and teach chemistry and mathematics. Students are going through so many things in their lives. They are having, some of them come from divorced parents, some of them come from abusive parents, some are the only kids at home. They have to do a lot of work at home. When they come to school, each and every student has their own story. A classroom has 50 students. You have to deal with each one of them. So apart from teaching, you have to give them a different time for them, so that they can pour the emotions into you, and you can help them as a counselor, as a therapist sometimes. You can help them as a big sister. So that's what I really like about teaching. You know, when a student comes in a completely strange environment they have no clue about, 4 years later they will leave that environment totally different from how they were before. They have learned new things, they have shaped themselves mentally, spiritually, they have learned new people. Those 4 years are very crucial to them, and what makes me so proud is I am part of their journey. You know, when they are describing their life, they have to mention my name as one of their stories. You know, that's what I really love about teaching.
There's a growing perception that young people are not going into the teaching profession. Why is that happening?
Okay, so I think the way you have said, young people are not interested in teaching these days. They are running away from the educational sector. They are looking for other pathways, alternative pathways. And I think there are three main factors that causes that. I think the first reason is, first of all, teaching is a job that it puts a lot of pressure on someone. The workload is heavy, and the teachers are under stress. They are under high stress. They are burnt out. And if I can just explain that by taking an example of my weekly routine. Yeah. So this is what I do usually during a week. My classes vary. Most of my classes start very early in the morning at 7:30. That means I should be awake and start preparing by 5, be in class by 7:30. And my timetable has almost 23 lessons in a week, which gives you an average of 4 lessons in a day. So I have to attend the 4 lessons on time, leave the classes on time, and before attending the lessons, I should be preparing lesson notes. Lesson notes, most of the teachers, they handwrite them, so you need to sit, take several books, and take sources from different books, write them down, and prepare for that class. So after attending all the lessons, I'm also supposed to prepare and submit professional documents. Professional documents, there are 4 most important ones. There are many, of course, but there are 4 important we're supposed to prepare. One is known as lesson plan. That is the plan that you're supposed to prepare before you go to a lesson. What are you going to teach? Which methods are you using? Which resources are you applying? All those, you're supposed to be using them. So before going to a class, for every single lesson, I teach 4 lessons in a day. That means I should be having 4 lesson plans prepared before I go to the lessons. Yeah? There is a schemes of work. Schemes you're supposed to prepare once in every term. It shows the content you'll be teaching for the entire 13 weeks or 12 weeks, depending on the term. You are supposed to prepare also records of work. Records of work you write at the end of that week. Yani, you sit and handwrite what you have taught for that entire week. You're also supposed to have lesson notes, as I told you. You're supposed to prepare all those documents, prepare and submit. So by Friday, the head of department will be calling you and telling you the time is here now. Bring all the professional documents. So that means you're supposed to prepare during the whole week. Remember, you have classes to attend. You have professional documents to write. That's kind of a workload we have. At the same time, so we are having other assignments. For example, I'm a class teacher. I teach Form 4 class, and I was assigned to be the class teacher of that class. I'm supposed to write attendance. I'm supposed to know who's missing from the class, who's not around. And if a student misses school for, let's say, 2 to 3 consecutive days, I have to call the parent and know what is the issue why this student is not attending. So you can imagine a class with 50 students. My Form 4 South class has 55 to 56 students. In a day, you can have like 5 to 7 absentees. You have to follow up who's not coming to school for, let's say, 3 consecutive days, and then call the parent of each student, know what the reason is, and write it down. And you're supposed to, again, report to the management. At the same time, also, we are mentors. Apart from teaching the classes, there are co-curricular activities. Some teachers are head of games, some are head of a debating club, different science club. So you see, this kind of a very heavy workload for a teacher, from attending classes to preparing the documents to teaching the students. So many people will see that as a very heavy thing to do, and I think that's one of the reasons why, because the students are seeing us.
Also little pay.
That takes me to my second point, and that is payment does not match our educational level. Because they tell you, a teacher, for you to become a teacher, you're supposed to do a degree. A degree costs you 4 years. 4 years of your time, 4 years of your money, 4 years of your efforts. You know, you cry, you struggle during that time. And after graduating, you will be taken, maybe you are taken to a remote area. There are hardship, there are difficulties again. And the struggles that I have mentioned again, you'll be doing all that. And at the end of the month, you're just paid, let's say, 50,000, and it does not match. Also, this current world that we are in, there's an inflation. there is a rise in
Cost of living.
cost of living, yeah. So our salary does not match up, does not keep up with the inflation, does not keep up with the cost of living. And that's another reason why people are running away. Also, and I think another reason is the status we have in the society. You know, teachers are not that much respected and they are not given support. So, for example, when I was growing up, when I was in primary school and when I was in high school, I belonged to that group of students. Like my friends, most of them were naughty. In fact, most of the students in high school are naughty. You'll be trained later how to deal with them, but most of them are, you know, very, very difficult to deal with. So I was seeing my friends and, you know, they're insulting a teacher, not of course face to face, but, you know, behind his back, they're like, oh, this teacher is this. They give funny nicknames. And some others, you know, you find them sleeping in class. They are not doing homework. Every time this is disturbing a teacher. So I was seeing such kind of things and I'm like, goodness, this teacher must be struggling. You know, it must be very, very hard to be a teacher. So the students themselves, most of them, especially those, you know, the lazy teachers experience this a lot. They are not respected by the students.
Were you ever given a nickname?
I have a nickname. I have a nickname, but mine is cute.
Okay.
I have.
What do they call you?
They call me Boss Lady.
Boss Lady.
Yeah, because of how I dress, and they say that they know the trend in fashion from what I wear. So I might come with new clothes this time, and then they say, "Oh, this cloth is new in town." But we have teachers who are given very bad names, you know, and it really hurts. So when I was a student, I was seeing teachers are not respected, and I never said that I'm going to be a teacher because that was the example I was saying. Mwalimu anafundisha kitu which is very important, but you find the student is sleeping. Mwalimu maybe hata haongei. So I was saying that, and then from the parents themselves, they are not supporting. That's when I came to know when I became a teacher. And I was saying that when we give students an assignment or homework, when the student goes back home, the parent knows the student came from school. But she does not say, like, go sit and go skim through whatever the teacher has taught you. Rather, they say, osha vyombo, pika chakula, do this.
Not our community.
That's our community. I
Even
really wish
who are
to change
empowered,
that.
they don't do that.
They don't.
They don't look at the homework.
Exactly. So those are the reasons why I think people are running away from this teaching sector.
And the other thing maybe I can contribute is, let's say you have done a bachelor's of education, and your colleague who had the same grade, C+ and above, also did a bachelor's in one of these developmental studies, sociology, social studies. They end up working in an NGO. They earn 150,000 to 200,000. You took the same time, you have the same grades, but you end up earning 30 to 40,000. The same effort, and you have more work to do. So I think that also, because in Garissa and in our region we have a lot of non-profit organizations who are paying very well. So I think the NGO influx in our region also contributed in one way or the other. Because I remember growing up, teaching was one of the best jobs, best paying, most respected. But recently it became like one of those jobs, like when you have reached somewhere, like I have nothing else to do now other than teaching. So it's never an option.
Yeah.
It is the last option.
Exactly.
For most of.
Yeah. Sometimes they tell you, like, have you struggled for 4 years just to become a teacher? Yeah. You can imagine somebody telling you that. When I remember when I was telling my friends and my relatives that I want to do teaching, they were like, so ulipata vipi plan to kuwa mwalimu? I mean, why don't you become
could have done other courses?
Yeah, you could have done, you could be a doctor, you could be an engineer, something that could give you could earn a lot of money there. Also, I also have some cousins, just to touch on what you said, they are working some are working for the NGOs, county government, some are working for the NGO. They report to work 3 times in a week. I know some, they don't even report, like, they report less than 5 days in a month, and they're earning 3 times my salary.
And you are waking up every morning.
Yeah, and everyone is saying that. So why would someone want to go into teaching? At first, seeing that they see that it has a lot of work and they pay, you know.
But also,
the payment is not that good.
But also I've realized there's no teacher who is a jobless.
Yes.
So for those who did other courses, most of them, they have not worked for the last 4 to 5 years. Some of them, only the lucky ones, maybe ndo walienda kwa NGO. But those I know who have graduated like 6-7 years ago, most of them are jobless. But the teachers, I have never seen a teacher who is jobless, which means there's a job
There's a
security,
demand in
there's a demand
education.
in
Yeah,
education. But
yeah,
people still don't want to go into teaching.
yeah, that shows you
How can we
education is
change
really
their mindset?
important. Okay.
Like this is a noble profession. Teaching is also a job. You can get a job even after graduation.
Yes.
Rather than doing a funny course, after 4 years you waste your money, you waste your time, and then you come outside and then there's no job opportunity. But for a teacher, I think in your last year already you have identified which school to go. So how can we change the mindset of these young men and women out there? Like teaching is like any other teaching, but ni kazi ya kujitolea. It's not everyone cannot be a teacher.
Yes.
It needs patience, and also you have to have a passion for the teaching. If you don't have passion for teaching, I think you will not teach anything. So now, word of advice: how can we have a change of mindset for the upcoming youth, especially those in high school right now? Like if you come out, you become a teacher, still the pay is less, but it's a very noble cause. How can we change that mindset?
Okay, so changing the mentality, I think it should be starting from the society itself, because we got that mentality from the society, and the society includes teachers. It includes everybody in the community. So the first thing to do is to change the mentality of the society. And how can we do that? I think we need to hold a public campaign to retain the prestige of teaching. Yeah, we need to restore the honor that teachers had previously. Yeah, by doing that, by showcasing how the impact the education has on the society. When they see that education is so important, they will realize that their children, the generation that is coming, really needs good teachers. So first thing is to hold a campaign to the public and tell them that education is really important, to show them that education is actually so important. That's the first thing. Second is to bring out those successful teachers that had an impact on the society. Those successful people that have touched on other sectors, you go and look for them, and then you make them tell the public that we are the examples of, we are the successful teachers, and these are the impacts you made. So they will be showing the young learners, they will be showing the upcoming, youth that teaching is actually so attractive, and it's actually a beautiful thing. Also, they need to prove to the public that teaching is not just a job. Teaching is a mission-driven career. It is far beyond just going to class and teaching. It is connecting with the students, and it is just molding the students into becoming self-reliant citizens.
Sure.
Yeah. So
and every student, every person, successful person you meet, he was inspired by a teacher.
By someone, yes.
Everyone's like, when I was in primary school, there was teacher so and so. He made me do this, and then I did this, and then in high school, in every story, a successful story, especially for someone, there must be a teacher.
Yes,
inside.
It's true.
Now,
up to now, there are so many students I've been teaching since 2019. That's when I started teaching, and most of them have already, they have done their KCSE and they are pursuing their degrees. Yeah. So just on a random day, I get a message on WhatsApp, because they have my number, and they're texting me, they're telling me, "Madam, you have really touched our lives. You have given us hope." There's one, first of all, that really, really touched me. She had a passion in doing nursing, but she was very poor in sciences. She wanted to become a nurse. Yeah, a nurse. And then I think she was in Form 2 by then. She came and then she talked to me. She was like, "Madam, I really want to become a nurse. My parents want me to become a nurse. What can I do?" And I'm very poor in biology and chemistry and mathematics. And that kind of touched me. And then I started giving her time, because them as students, they don't have time, because they are having classes, they are having, you know, PPI sessions. Their schedule is just so busy. They don't have time. So I told her, if you can extract time for yourself, if you can look for time, then I can, you know, I can fix my schedule to teach you. So she said I can come early in the morning. I can come by 6 at school. So that's the only time that I'm free. So it forced me to wake up. Even when I don't have lessons in the morning, maybe I have lessons at 10 a.m., then I had to stand up, wake up at 6, prepare just to teach that girl. So I could wake up at, let's say, very early in the morning, be at school by 6. And then we had that session between 6 to 7:30. That's when the lessons are starting. And we were doing that every single day, and then until she was done with Form 4. And then she passed really well. That day, when the results were coming out, she said, I don't want to look for the results myself, you will do that for me. So ikabidi sasa mimi nimtafutie result yake, nikapata, akasema I want to hear the result from your mouth because that's your effort. So I went, looked for it, I sent it, I was like, you passed so well, congratulations. She was so happy. And then she told me, you are the reason for this. You know, that really makes me very happy. So now she's currently pursuing a degree in nursing.
Amazing.
That's what she wanted.
There's one question, I don't know if you can answer it right or wrong. I have a problem with the basic literacy and numeracy in our schools. Like I said, the other day I met one of my nephews or his niece. He's in grade 4. I told him, how old are you? And he could not answer. You remember that story? At the early years of education is very crucial for any learner.
Yes.
The first 3 years is a make it or break it for any learner. Why are we lowering the standard of teachers who are teaching at PP1 and PP2? Why don't we take someone with a B stand, pursue a career in ECD, and teach, considering how crucial that level is? Yes. The foundational literacy and numeracy. Yeah. Why are we, in schools I know, ECD is taught by class A dropouts. Someone who can only read and write are the one who are assigned to teach that crucial level of make it and break it. Yes. Why are we, how do I put it? How are we diluting the ECD by providing substandard teachers? Why don't we have a teacher who would be well trained to come and teach at ECD level? What's the problem?
That is one of the challenges that we are facing. One of the many challenges that we are facing. A child who is developing now needs somebody who is very, very well trained because they are at that crucial point of their development. Their brain are developing. They're learning how to communicate with people. They're learning how to think logically. So of course we need somebody who is strong enough, somebody who has the ability.
And not a class A dropout. Not a class A dropout.
No. Somebody who is even more professional than us, high school teachers. Yeah, we need
because
them.
You guys need a little bit of effort, but those kids need a lot of effort.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I hope one day they will consider that. But I've also seen, especially in rural areas.
Yes. They look for anyone who can read and write.
That child was never exposed to the national languages.
Yes.
Because ako shago, ako badia, asikii Kiswahili.
English.
Na anasoma shule. So that kid, will be taught by a teacher who came from, let's say, western part of the country, from Nairobi, from Rift Valley. That teacher does not understand Somali. So when they come together in a classroom, of course, there'll be that difficulty in language barrier. Yeah. The student does not understand Swahili. That again is another. It's another.
That's what I'm trying to solve with my startup.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Another question. This one is a little bit sensitive. In the recent years, we have seen a lot of grades.
Yeah.
That's
sensitive. I know what you want to say.
I've seen some people who have scored good grades, B.
Yes.
But if you give them a class 5 math or they cannot. Why are we? What happened to the examinations? Because I remember some guys even sent to school, to university, because they had a good grade. They end up dropping. In Nairobi, I have 3 cases. No, in where I come from, I have 3 cases. One was talking to a school in Nairobi. because he passed the primary by getting 300 something. One was taken to a school in a national school in outskirts of Nairobi. Another one I think was taken around in Rift Valley. 3 of them, and all of them went to national schools. All of them, just because they passed.
They passed.
And they all come from this.
Yes.
This
Northeastern province.
Northeastern
Let's say
province.
generally.
Imagine the guys were getting E's in the first term, Form 1, second term E, and all of them ran away because they could not adapt to their last life. That's for now for the primary side. Going to secondary. There are those who graduated from KCSE. They are carrying B's, but unfortunately, you cannot take them to any university because they cannot even speak.
Yeah.
What happened? Why do we have a lot of exam cheating nowadays? The man used to have Y's, and people used to get D's, but that D was their own effort, and it was very strong. Now we have B who cannot write their name.
Exactly.
When did the rain start beating us?
Okay, it's just started recently. Exam cheating started recently because I remember during our time, I did KCSE in 2018. During then we had Mr. Ado who was a principal at our school. And if he just suspected, he hasn't caught you with an evidence, but if he just suspected that you were involved in anything about examination misconduct, then he would punish you in front of the whole
class,
the whole students. And the exam that we did, not only at our school, but so many other schools, there was no exam teaching. Whatever you get was yours. After that, I think it started in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023.
During the COVID.
And there are schools that are known. In Musalama now, when a student reaches Form 3, they leave. You find that
they go for rural schools.
There are schools that are known for teaching, for cheating. Yani ati, unafaa kulipa a certain amount of fee
15,000
to bribe the officers who are there, to bribe the teachers. As you see, it's a very, very sensitive topic, and it really, really hurts me.
Because I know some guys who get transferred from Garissa High School, which is a national school in Garissa, and going to a remote school. Just because there's a cheating. And also I have a friend who had a school. He said parents come to you, they tell you, do you cheat exams? If you say no, they take them to another school. Yes, so the parents are even encouraging.
That's why I told you everything starts from the society, the parents, the community. Everything starts from there.
How can we curb this exam cheating?
I think one of the best way to do is the ministry has to be aware of that.
They are aware.
They are aware, so they have to do something. That's the only way to curb it, because I can't say let's tell the teachers to stop. It's especially from my level as a teacher, I cannot stop another teacher from doing that. But when it comes from higher authority, the power they have might be able to stop them. And as I was telling you, we usually have a large number of students in our school. So when they reach, let's say, Form 3, we remain with only half of them. And then
they go to rural schools.
Yeah, we are told that the others have went to Shule Fulani because they cheat. And the first of the people who take them to those schools are the parents.
So the parents are also culprits.
Yeah.
So sad. Now the next question is, how can we make a teaching profession more attractive again?
Okay. First of all, teaching is the backbone of the educational system. We are the most important elements in our society. We are shaping the generation that is coming. So we teachers are supposed to be provided with adequate resources. We are supposed to be given effective training, and we're supposed to get support from the administration, support from the society, support from everyone, because it will help us to provide a quality education to the learners. So if we want to make education attractive, then
also money.
Yes.
Money must be involved.
Money, bana tulipwe.
Tulipwe vizuri.
Tulipwe, we need motivation. I've heard there are some schools that they are really, really well motivated. Unasikia mwalimu fulani anakuambia at the end of this term we are being taken to a vacation in Zanzibar for a week.
Wow. That's a public school?
Yeah, it's a public school.
Who's paying for that?
The board, maybe.
Okay.
You hear another teacher saying like we are going to Mombasa. Others, in their school, you hear that they are holding parties for the teachers. We need such kind of motivation, especially as teachers who are in, northeastern province. You can see this kind of weather we are living in and teaching the students, the kind of hardship and the struggles we're going through. We need that kind of motivation, we need that kind of payment. Tunafaa kulipwa jamani.
Na mnapewa chai ya break
Chai,
time saa nne?
Yeah, in terms of meals tunajengwa.
Sasa mnone sasa.
Yeah, so
kama mnapewa chai, I think you are sorted.
Yeah, we are given, we provided by tea. So one of the ways to make education, teaching to be attractive is to improve the teacher's compensation. And just to touch on that, the salary that we get does not coincide with the cost of living. And we need our salaries to be kind of adjusted so that it meets up with the inflation. Also, teachers, another thing that I have observed is delayed promotion. You see a teacher experiencing stagnation for
20 years maybe.
Yeah, and that teacher has attained the necessary qualifications. He or she has applied for promotion, but the rate of promoting teachers is just so slow. That demoralizes teachers so bad. And also allowances, especially teachers that live in hardship areas, including us, those that are working in marginalized areas.
You're not given hardship?
We are given hardship allowance, but I think they have to make it better.
Better.
Yeah. That's one way of making education, teaching attractive. Another way is to ensure that the environment that we're teaching in is safe and conducive. For example, I'll take an example of a school in remote areas. Let's say Galmagala. I'm saying Galmagala because that's where I come from.
Okay.
So I've seen schools there that are in very, very terrible states. Yeah, very terrible state. There is no electricity. There is no water. I mean, if the teacher wants to get water, he or she has to travel for kilometers to find water. Okay. And the classroom is just in a very bad condition.
Social amenities, hakuna.
There hakuna lab. Kwa sababu tusema ICT, the normal labs are not even there. Yeah. There is no electricity. Well, how can we talk about ICT? The classrooms, yeah. And they're just in a very bad state. I think they have to focus on that,
Infrastructure.
Bring resources, bring infrastructure. Now, let me touch on that again. About the teacher training, CBC curriculum now is coming, yeah? And next year we will be teaching the students that are already in that program. Me and several teachers are not trained. Some of us are trained, yes, but I'm going to handle them, but I'm not trained.
How are you going to handle them?
Yes, now let's say as a teacher that is in remote areas, the reason the excuse they give that these teachers are not trained is they don't have enough or transport to give the teachers to travel to come to Garissa township for them to be trained. Like hawana pesa kupatiana walimu. And then I usually ask myself, we have digital platforms. I mean, they can use Zoom.
Thank you, Mwalimu, for the explanation. I think you know the importance of STEM in the kind of the world now, the world how it's going. How STEM is very important in our day-to-day activities and also in the future of jobs. And as a region, I think we had we are not very vibrant in terms of STEM by not having STEM facilities and also lack of enough teachers. So as a STEM teacher, it's one of the STEM components that you teach. What are some of the challenges that are faced by generally the ecosystem of STEM in this region, the northern part of Kenya?
Northern part of Kenya, the marginalized areas, yeah?
Yes.
First of all, when we talk about marginalized areas, let's talk about northeastern province in general, yeah? Yeah. So if we talk about Garissa County, we are better than those schools that are, found in the bushes, A school might be having an issue with understaffing. That's one of the issues that they're facing, yeah?
Of science teachers,
Yes,
STEM teachers.
yes, exactly. You can find a school of 300 students that's only having one physics teacher. Some schools don't offer some subjects because they are not
They're not
teachers
teachers.
teaching them. Yeah. That's they're really experiencing understaffing, and another challenge that we are facing is lack of resources, and that's the most important one. Yeah? We lack human and material resources, both of them. Some schools, in our school, alhamdulillah, we really have 3 laboratories, both physics, chemistry and biology. We have an ICT laboratory. We have that basic foundation, but there are some schools in Kinja Kichakani sasa. There are some schools that do not have the basic e-learning platforms. Yeah? They do not have laboratories at all. In fact, the classrooms are in a very difficult, very poor condition, and they lack resources. And I think that's because when you teach, you need resources. You need resources to teach. You need to make the work for the teacher easier, and you also need to, for the learner to understand things faster. Because in this current technological world, a learner will understand more when they see visuals than when they listen to a teacher.
And interactive content.
Exactly.
True.
So I think that's one of the challenges that we are facing. Another problem that we are facing is cultural barrier. Okay, I think this was an issue back then, but now alhamdulillah people are opening their eyes. Back then there was a problem or an issue that students and especially girls were not allowed to study. Even currently there might be some situation where just girls are told, they are told you better just go off and get married early rather than sitting and wasting your time in a classroom, Students are unprepared because they've been hearing from the society, they've been hearing from everyone that STEM is a very difficult subject. So you're coming to class to teach, and these students have already been told when she was...
Already they have a mentality.
Yeah, like for example, a physics teacher might be in a classroom teaching students, Form 1, that student has not selected subjects yet.
But they know that it's a very...
But they know that when that time of selection comes, I'm dropping this.
By Form 1, they know.
By Form 1, when they are just reporting to school the first lesson, they know his subject if a second time in a tupa. Because they've heard from, the people that this subject is STEM, it's not for us. Chemistry is very hard, it's very difficult, you cannot pass, and they're hearing that. So for a teacher who teaches science, I really want people to know that science is very important, just like the other subjects that they focus on, they should be focusing on science. So it's very, very important. Yeah, that's another challenge that we are facing. Yeah, that's it.
Is ICT and e-learning applied in your school? Do you have ICT or e-learning? How is your ICT infrastructure like as a school?
Okay, in our school, we have an ICT lab. We have a teacher that is that's given that role of managing that department. We have computers. We are having.
How often are they used?
Every teacher is required to integrate ICT at least once in a week. Yeah, because if we say like to integrate many times in a day, first of all, it's going to be difficult because there are so many teachers.
So many students, so many classes.
Of course, currently we are not at that good level, but we are trying. We have that foundation. So alhamdulillah, we have a nice department.
Do you have an ICT club?
We have.
ICT club. Club as a club.
Oh,
like
as
we
a
have
club.
a debate club. Do you have an ICT club?
Not yet.
Why don't you start and I support it?
You support it?
Yes.
Okay, how can you support it?
Don't worry. I'll support by technical and also material if they need some courses and also mentor. Yes.
Fine then. I'll make sure to report that to the principal.
Yes. Make sure we have. Right now we are starting a program of ICT clubs funded by Raspberry Pi Foundation. It's a UK-based organization, but it's for primary schools. Primary schools. We have 5 in Garissa, 10 in Wajir, and 5 in Mandera for piloting. But it's for primary schools, and they already have content for that. But it's not hard to even have a club at secondary level. I'll talk to them, see if we can also support your school. But if you can promise me that we're going to have a vibrant ICT club of not more than 30 students. So look for 30 students who are passionate about ICT, who have shown interest, so that we can have a WhatsApp group and share resources with them, technological courses, some trending topics about tech, what Google is doing, what Microsoft is doing, what Facebook is going to do. Now we have Meta and AI, the crazy things, a lot of crazy things happening. And we can share even some few free courses. There's a lot of ICT courses which are free, offered online. So I think it's something that we can do together.
I'm very sure when I report back to the management, they will be so happy to hear that.
Yeah, and if maybe you guys want me to come and talk to the students on ICT, the status of ICT, and how it's going to it's disrupting the future of work, and how they can be part of that revolution, the fourth industrial revolution, I'll be happy to come and talk to the students. Now that's a plug-in. If you could change one thing about education system right now, what could it be? From ECD to the university. One thing.
Okay, that again is a bit sensitive. If I could change one thing in our educational system, I could change the way we measure success. Yeah. So if I just ask you, Abdul, do you think that a student who is scoring a mid grade of A, is that student's guaranteed success?
No.
No. Of course,
they're going to work for C students.
Yeah, exactly. So one factor that determines success is, of course, being good in academic performance.
That's
not the only issue.
Doesn't guarantee you to.
It does not guarantee you that. Will not say that you will become very successful because you have an A.
Because you got an A.
Meaning, there's another sector of things that you're supposed to integrate.
Creativity and everything.
Exactly. Now, in our everyday lives, when we're at school, we can see that anything that is revolving around the school is just about students, making sure the students are getting good marks, making sure the students are passing well. We are the ones who are giving that perception into the minds of the learners. You used to hear, of course, memes going around like Mwalimu Martha amesema
hatufika mbali, hapa ni wapi?
Because they were performing very poorly in mathematics. The same people, you can see how much they are prospering in life. Yeah, which of course means that it's not only about grades. There are skills that you're supposed to be having, because in a classroom we are having different people. We are having doctors, we are having artists, we are having of course engineers. At the same time, we're having farmers. We are having
soldiers.
Yes, soldiers. People are different. You can't be expecting somebody who is
Ali Mukhtar.
Yeah. You cannot be expecting
photographers and videos.
Exactly, photographers and all those people, video editors. So you cannot be expecting somebody who's, let's say, good in photography, who has a passion in photography, to be good in maths. Yeah. So I can't be punishing. I can't be putting a lot of punishment because this student is not understanding my concept, because he or she is not made for that.
True.
So we need the educational system to
inclusive. That is inclusive.
To focus, on creativity, on critical thinking, on emotional intelligence, on
that's
life
what CBC
skills.
is doing now.
Yes.
That's CBC is supposed to do.
That's why I'm supporting CBC.
Do you think CBC is going to be successful in the future?
It is. If we give them enough resources,
are you sure?
And enough training, I think this is the right way in which teachers are moving.
Personally, I believe CBC is going to fail. It's already failed and it's going to fail.
It is failing because there are no resources provided.
And the resource,
Yeah.
True.
If we are provided with the resources and very well trained teachers, I think it will. So we want learners to leave the school not only with good grades. We want them to leave with skills that will help them adapt to the real life, to the skills that will make them successful. They need skills that will, let's say, problem-solving skills. They will need critical thinking skills. They need to be creative. All those skills will, mold them into responsible citizens. That is what we need to be focusing on. So if I really have to change one thing in the education system, that's what I could have changed.
Thank you.
And it's already happening. That's a good thing.
Yeah, you're in the process.
Mm.
What do you think, what do you hope your legacy would be as a teacher, a woman, and a leader?
The
Your
legacy
legacy.
I'd like to leave behind, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, first of
What's
all,
your vision like as a teacher, as a woman, as a leader?
exactly. So, I would really like to be remembered as somebody who was a source of hope, to many people. I wish to be remembered as the voice of the voiceless, the voice of women, the voice of children, and the voice of the forgotten. Because where I come from, I am among the few educated people. So I want them to see me, and then they say that if Nasra can actually do that, then we can also do it. You know, this part is not actually impossible. We can do this. So I really want to be a source of hope to them.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to be remembered as the
champion for STEM.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to be remembered as somebody who gives strength. You know, as a symbol of strength. Let's say that, because despite all the odds, despite the challenges, the struggles that we're going through, as in these especially marginalized areas, we are still fighting, we are still teaching, we are still lifting souls, we are changing lives. I really want to be remembered by that. Also, I want to be remembered as a dream builder, you know, because we just not teach, we just don't go to the class and lecture. Rather, we are nurturing the future generation that is coming. We are nurturing doctors, we're nurturing engineers, artists,
the next
all
president,
those, yeah.
The next senators, next MPs.
Exactly. So we need them to grow into responsible human
Citizens.
beings, and that is all in our hands. So that's all I really want to be, to the
Final,
legacy to leave.
What advice would you give for the young people who are in primary school, secondary school, and those who also want to pursue teaching career?
Sciences is not as hard as you think. Science is very cool. Chemistry is very cool. All those learners that I have taught can testify. Any other subject that you are learning is not that hard. Be kind to your teachers. Do not disturb them. There is no hard subjects outside there. It might be a little bit challenging, but we both know that challenging things are interesting. Know where you are best at. Please choose the course you're going to do later wisely, okay? If you want to pursue a bachelor's of education, you are supposed to be having a minimum of C+ in your mean grade, and the two subjects that you're interested in teaching, then you should be also having a minimum of C+, and you should be having a minimum of C+ in English language, English/Swahili. The two subjects that you're going to be pursuing in bachelor's of education should be the two subjects that you have passion, the two subjects that you really love, because later you're going to teach those two subjects to the learners, meaning you should be enjoying it first before making the learners enjoy. For diploma, you are required to have a minimum of C plane, and the subjects that you're also interested in, you should be having a minimum of C plane. For my beautiful girls outside there, I know that we as girls, we are going through so many things outside. Some of us might be the only girl around at home, so we might be burdened by a lot of things. I just want to let you know that you are not alone. We are going through this together. Do not let the challenge that you're facing interfere with your studies. Things might go on around at home, outside the classroom, with your friends. The peer pressure might be a lot. Please, I want you to feel free with your teachers. We as female teachers, it is our duty to know what you guys are going through. Also, please remove that idea that you have in your mind that sciences and mathematics are hard. We are meant for it. Our mind can absorb so many things. You have to know that. Do not let the society tell you that mathematics, chemistry, physics is hard. It is not hard. If I did it and I'm teaching now, then why can you not do it? Yeah? You can. You have that power. Do not let the society fool you into thinking that science is not meant for you. Science is a very crucial subject. Mathematics is very crucial. Science is applied in our daily activities. I did sciences. If I loved sciences, if I passed in sciences, then why can you not do it? Yeah? You have the power, you have the intellect to do even better than I did. Me and you, we are all equal. If I did it, you can also do it.
Thank you so much, Nasra, for the word of wisdom and encouragement, and also for inspiring us and also the younger generation. The teaching profession, like she said, is a very noble profession. In my other life, I could have been a teacher too. Let's all go back to the teaching profession, because that is where we are going to shape our next generation. That's all for this episode. Let's meet for another amazing episode. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.